what the hell is the patriarchy? Um, I still don't know. I tried to find out. I've heard about the patriarchy. Maybe like a few years ago, everyone started talking about the patriarchy. Feminists started talking about the patriarchy. It's just apparently something that you can blame all your problems on. Any problem that you have, it's the patriarchy. If you can't get a job, it's not because you're not qualified, it's because it's the patriarchy. If you can't get the guy you want, that's the patriarchy. If you go to the grocery store and the guy gives you the wrong amount of change back, that's because he's part of the patriarchy. Everything, if you have to go to the bathroom at night and you can't hold your piss in and you don't want to roll out of bed, that's the patriarchy. I tried to find some. I was looking at feminist websites because I want to hear about what the hell the patriarchy is from the horse's mouth. And I just like looking at feministcurrent.com because they're like the most radical feminists, I think, which are the ones who complain about the patriarchy the most. So this article, it talks about Bill C-16 in Canada. Apparently it's some article that has to do with being able to gender yourself with any gender. But feminists, I thought they were fighting for this, but now they're fighting against this. They're just fighting. They just like fighting, I think. So now this is about how they're against Bill C-16 because it's part of the patriarchy. Patriarchy was invented in order to control women's reproductive capacity, and gender was created in order to naturalize and reinforce that hierarchical system. So first, they're immediately saying that patriarchy was invented. They always say it was invented. There's like 10 different reasons why it was invented. This reason is that it was invented to control women's reproductive capacity. I don't know how. They don't explain anything. I don't know how that is true. They don't explain that. I'm pretty sure a girl has to have sex with a guy. I mean, unless the girl gets raped, that's not part of the patriarchy. That's just some psycho guy operating by himself. Women and girls around the globe are killed, prostituted, raped, abused every day, not because they wear dresses, have long hair, or behave passively, but because they are female. Well, because they're smaller than men, that's why. Not really because they're female, but females are smaller than men. And under patriarchy, females are said to be less than. So patriarchy, actually, there's a law apparently. There's some type of patriarchal book. I haven't been given the book or the laws. I wish I could order my patriarchy book and I could read some of the rules. Females are said to be less than. So the patriarchy actually says somewhere in a book or tablet, females are said to be less than. Things that exist for male use to be owned, bought, sold, and looked at. How dare we look at women, fucking patriarchal sons of bitches. Women's rights exist on this basis because we as a society understand that women are discriminated against and subject to male violence, regardless of their clothing, which is also not true. I mean, I don't know how many things are not true in one article. What you're wearing, the skimpier the clothes, the higher the chance that you're going to be sexually assaulted and sexually harassed. That's just the fact of life. You are portraying an image. Your image portrays something. If I see a guy, like Dave Chappelle says, wearing a police outfit, I imagine that he's a police officer. That's just me. If I see a woman wearing nothing, I imagine she's a prostitute looking to sell sex. That's just how people operate. Not even guys, just people operate. I mean, your image is a description of what you're trying to say, of what you're putting out there. Should he be allowed? Next thing. Should he be allowed to apply for positions and grants specifically reserved for women? Now, it's the best when you're trying to talk about the patriarchy, and on accident, there you talk about the matriarchy. I did not even know that women get grants for being women. I had no idea that there were grants specifically reserved for women. That is so the opposite of patriarchy. They are actually ruining. This article actually does them a disservice. Based on the knowledge that women are underrepresented or marginalized in male-dominated fields or programs, and based on the fact that women are paid less than men, and will often be fired or not hired in the first place because they get pregnant. Yeah, that's just logical. The thing is, if it was pure capitalism, and I'll go into capitalism because they blame capitalism too. And pure capitalism. I am not going to hire someone who's going to make me less money than the other person that can make me more money. It has nothing to do with you being a female, having a vagina. It has to do with you not being able to work the full year. If I want you to make money for me, if I was a business owner, that's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. Anything else doesn't matter to me as a business owner. The only thing that matters is that you make me money. That's it. So it's not, and it's also unfair. It's for me not to hire some guy who will work harder and more, and I could pay him the same. He's going to work harder and more. I'm going to pay him the same hourly. It's not fair to him that I not hire him, a harder worker who's going to work longer and harder than a woman who's going to who's let's say she's around like age 20 something, and she's married and she's talking about getting pregnant. I'm not going to hire her. She's not going to make me money. I don't see that as discrimination. I just see that as being logical. Then the sex robots. I talked about this in another video. Even sex robots are patriarchy. But this is in my sex robot video. I won't go too much into this. It's pretty funny. I don't know how it epitomizes. Everything epitomizes patriarchy. And the next thing is capitalism. They blame capitalism. They say that capitalism is patriarchy. I don't know how. I mean, I could see how, because guys outwork women because they don't get pregnant and because they're designed to work. I mean, they're designed to work as hard as they possibly can so they can procreate with as many women as they can. They're just designed for that. Every male, like in every fucking animal kingdom, just does that. They're the ones who are gonna outwork you. You're never going to. I see how capitalism, patriarchy, in that women are never going to outwork the top 1% of men. You're never going to outwork them, ever. Not never. They're like machines. They wake up and work at 4 a.m. and then they get home at like 6 p.m. and then they work at home. You're never going to outwork them. And because capitalism is based on the amount of work you put in, yeah, it's some type of argument, but it's also unfair to that guy who works his fucking ass off, and you don't pay him anything. You pay him less, or he doesn't get the job because you have to hire a woman just because she's a woman. That's unfair. But it says we see this, for example, in the idea of weaponized femininity. Yeah, they say makeup. Wherein patriarchal makeup norms sold to us by capitalist companies assert that our now subversive eyeliner should be sharp enough to kill a man. I don't know what the hell this whole article is actually about. I read this article like 10 times, and I have no idea what the fuck whoever wrote this is trying to say. It sounds like a schizophrenic whose ideas are all over the place. Just trying to write something and sound smart, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Patriarchal makeup norms. So first of all, makeup, I believe, was invented by the Egyptians, and females like Cleopatra wore it. It wasn't really patriarchal, so I don't know how patriarchal the makeup is part of the patriarchy. Also, women are the ones buying the makeup. They buy the makeup. Companies are going to sell makeup based on the customers buying whatever they're buying. If something sells more, they're going to produce more of that. So it's really, makeup has everything to do with women and nothing to do with men. So I don't know where they get that from. And also, well, I won't go into Egypt. Egypt was, because if you want to even go even more in depth, Egypt wasn't even a capitalist. It was ruled by a pharaoh, and they started makeup. So really, makeup was created under a dictatorship. So they lose every angle of the argument. The next paragraph, I have no idea what any of this means. If someone could tell me what any of this means, it means nothing. It's just nonsense. I'll just read it. Irony has in many ways become the rhetoric of compliance. We're still buying into these systems, but with an edge. It's become similar to the guilt-free promise. I don't know what this means. I can't even read this. It doesn't make any sense. After trying to study what the hell patriarchy is, I still have no idea. I have no idea what patriarchy is. It seems to be something that you can blame everything on. That's what it seems to be for me. Oh, and then they also have, they blame patriarchy on killing Amy Winehouse. Patriarchy apparently killed Amy Winehouse. It wasn't that she was a drug addict. Although you could probably blame her being a drug addict on patriarchy. too, right? Because women are drug addicts because of the patriarchy somehow. And then I wanted to say that the main reason women are complaining about the patriarchy, it's never like super hot women complaining about the patriarchy. It's never super like it's never tens complaining about the patriarchy because they know their power. Women's power is sex appeal. That's their power. You're not going to outwork a man, so forget trying to get into the whole capitalist game, any type of game, even if it's socialism, anything. Forget trying to outwork a man. You're not going to. You should just accept that your power is sex. That's your power, and it's a friggin' strong power. Why wouldn't you accept that power? It's probably the driving force behind psychotic men working so hard because they want to have sex with hot chicks. So that's probably the primary power that you want. And you have all of these women who don't want to accept that for some odd reason. They don't want to accept that women's power is sex, probably because they're out of shape. But even then, that's just being lazy. Just go to the gym. Maybe ugly women, I could see. If you're ugly, then you have an excuse not to accept that and to just go into the whole patriarchy, psychotic, blame everything on men spiel. But if you're not ugly, the faster way to happiness is just to accept that your power is sex appeal and get your ass to the gym, work out every day, become as attractive as you can, and the world will be a 10 times better place, and you'll have a much better life. You probably already have a better life than most men, but you'll have a better life than a lot of women, because now a lot of women are trying to become men, which is not going to work. It's not going to work. You're not going to outwork men. You're not going to become men. And if you don't work on your looks as a woman, you're wasting your time, and you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get as far as you could in life if you don't do that. Just work on your looks. I don't see why you wouldn't. I think it's easier to work on your looks. I'd rather just go to the gym. I'd rather have to work on one thing, my looks, going to the gym, and that's it. Just going to the gym and dieting, instead of being a guy having to work your balls off to compete against other guys to get top jobs, which I can't. I don't have the work ethic or determination to outwork these one percenters. And I have to go to the gym and look good, and I have to do all these things. I have to get game. I have to do all these things. I'd rather have the life of a girl and just go to the gym and wear makeup. That's what I think. I think that's way better. I don't know why you wouldn't accept that. Maybe it has to do with a pride issue. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I could find much more stuff about patriarchy. I don't want to make the video long, but this is just some of the stuff that I found.